What's going on, everyone? Nick here with Mission FX. In today's video, I'm going to be going over a brief recap of all the trades I took last week, as well as a simple outlook on what I'm going to be looking for next week to trade. I called out all these trades with full analysis and explanations live as they occurred each step of the way here in my free Telegram channel, which has almost 28,000 members right now. To join this free Telegram channel and watch me trade live every single day for free, all you have to do is click the link in the description of this video, watch my 30-minute free training, and at the end of that, you'll get a link you can click, which you can then use to join this Telegram channel. It's that simple. So that being said, let's go right in here to my Oanda terminal, and let's go to transaction history. The beginning of this week was on the 7th, so February 7th. So I'm going to scroll back in here to February 7th. So right in here, you can see the first trade I closed this week was on the 8th, so it would have been on Monday. Was a AUD/USD. I closed a partial profit right here, which was an open position on a trade that I'm in. So I'll go to that right here. I closed a partial profit on this trade right in, I believe it was like somewhere up in here. We can look at the exact price in my transaction history. But as price went and made a higher high on Monday, I closed out another unit of reward in that trade just to kind of peel out some more partial profits. So I didn't take any new trades on that at that time. Just that was a partial profit. That's why that's there. So also the next one I had is on February 9th, I had two losses on New Zealand dollar JPY. I took these two trades back to back. I took two buys and they both stopped out. We'll go look at that. So New Zealand dollar JPY, price is in an uptrend. So on the 4-hour, daily, 1 hour, everything's going in an uptrend. I don't know why the screen is not rendering right now. There it is. So it was in an uptrend. Price had broken above this previous resistance level, went back up here, came down and retested it as support and started to bounce. So after price started to come there and bounce as support, I entered a first entry, which I guess I'll have to go to minute 5 to show you this and to like really spread it out. So after price started bouncing at this zone, I entered after it came here a second time and started to bounce. Initially, my zone was a little bit higher up here, so that's why the entry was taken there. So it bounced up, went into profit for a bit, came back, and then went back into profit, and then went down and hit the stop loss. Now, after it hit the stop loss, what it did is hit the stop loss and it started going back up. After it started going back up, I thought that this right here was probably just going to end up being a fake out. So after it broke back above the zone and tested, it started breaking back above the zone. I thought it was going to continue right there. I still thought it looked great. So what I did is I just adjusted my zone a little bit lower to include that, and I entered a second buy right there with the stop loss below the new low that was just created. So I still thought it looked great for buys. I mean, it was a clear 1 hour, 4 hour level. It was a break and retest. There was rejection and everything. I mean, it looked really nice. So anyway, so I entered that one. That one ended up right after I entered it, it just went straight down and then hit the stop loss. So after that, I chose to just not look to take any more trades on this. I just left it alone. It ended up going upwards and then backwards and kind of whipping around back and forth a couple times. But in the end, after it went up and made a couple higher highs, it did end up flashing back below the level. And then, it just didn't continue upwards. So yeah, that's what would have happened earlier this week. So that was my first two new trades this week, pretty much, is two stop outs on that. So that was that. Two small stop outs. Then we had a USD SEK. I took this trade next, looks like. So I had a first trade right here. Price is in a downtrend on the 4-hour and 1 hour chart. For the daily of 4-hour and 1 hour on USD SEK. I have no idea why it's taking so long for these charts to load. It's like laggy. But it ran a downtrend, so I'm only looking for sells long-term on these pairs, on USD, most USD pairs. But for USD SEK, we had a break below this recent support level right here. Super clear support level. Price broke below, came up, retested it, started to reject, and it left this little 1 hour bearish rejection wick closure. So I entered after that. It rejected the zone, started going down. And yep, I just took a sell. I went into some profit, and then it did come back up and stop out. Some people asked me like, hey, why didn't you book any partial profits right there? One of the rules I have in my trade management system is that it needs to go into at least a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio before I'll even modify the trade, like moving a break even stop or partial profits. But really, before I close partial profits, I usually most of the time want to wait for like 3 to 4 units of gain. So I want to wait for the trade to go into at least like a 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 risk reward prior to even messing with the trade. Otherwise, if you start closing like partial profits at 1 to 1 risk reward, you're not even covering your initial risk. Like you'd have to close the full trade, then you'd be out of the trade to close your initial risk if it's a 1 to 1. This trade had a 1 to 30 risk reward ratio as a final target of a daily 4-hour lower low. So the risk reward was great. Yeah, so I didn't want to cap the potential by closing out partial profits. I was personally waiting for it to come down here. That's why I have this level as my first TP. It was a previous 1 hour support level. But that never happened. It just went up and stopped out. So what happened after this is it stopped out, right? It came right back below. Like after it stopped out, it came right back below the level, came up and tested, and then left this bearish rejection candle right here. So I thought it was now going to go at that time. I was like, all right, it didn't work the first time. It stopped out. Maybe it just pinned past, but now it's going to go right here. I thought it was just going to continue from right there and keep going down. That didn't end up happening. Instead, it ended up just kind of going sideways. So after it went sideways for a couple hours and then started to slowly crack above this area right here, I called this as like a partial. I closed it essentially just past break even. It was in small loss. So that was that first USD SEK trade here, this stop out. So I lost $250 on that. The next one was this right here, USD SEK minus $80. So I closed the sell on some small loss. It would have ended up going and hitting the stop loss anyways, but it started ranging, going sideways, so I ended up just getting out of the trade early. Now I also took a buy on GBP/JPY, and I didn't get stopped out, but I closed it as small loss. So let's go and look at that one here. I took this buy. USD or GBP/JPY and the daily 4-hour and 1-hour charts is in like a pretty steep uptrend. It's been an uptrend for a while. I've caught some cool trades on this one. I caught like a 1-to-20 risk reward ratio a month ago. This one I caught a partial, well actually no, I didn't take partial profits, but it came back and stopped at break even after going into profit. I took a stop out on this one. Looks like it was like a week or 2 weeks ago. And then I did take a buy this week that ended up, I closed it in small loss. So what happened is price on GJ, we already know we're in an uptrend. It broke above these previous highs, came back and tested as support right here. It left like a huge 1-hour rejection candle. I waited until after that rejection candle was formed. And then after price came back to the level a little bit, that's where I entered. I used the minute 15 to enter. So this right here would have been the 1-hour rejection candle. It broke back into the zone. I just waited for it to come back to the horizontal zone. And once it did come back, I opened up a buy after it tested the zone and started to bounce. My stop loss was just below that previous low right there that got formed. Target of a higher high in the daily. This one had about a 1-to-24 risk to reward ratio with the final targets on it. So this one, what happened is after I entered the trade on long, it came back, tested, tried to bounce, came back and tested, went halfway to the stop, and then started going up, and then it tried, and it just kept trying over and over, but it was failing to make a higher high. So after that happened, and then we had this like strong bearish candle form right here, I just kind of made the decision, all right, it doesn't look like it's ready to go right here. I'm just going to exit the trade in small loss. So I exited it right around break even and just called it a day. So that was that partial loss right there on GJ. You see, it wasn't a stop out. It was just a partial loss. It's like $100, no big deal. So super microscopic loss. So yeah, that was GJ. And the next one I had, the last trade I took this week, the new ones was an 80 USD buy that stopped out last night. So I took this trade right here. If you guys already know, there's a trade I called last week. This one right here. I actually made a whole video about this. I traded this live during NFP. I entered the position. And yeah, I've closed out a couple $1,000s in profit on this. It's going great. So it's covered all of last week's losers, and it's also covered pretty much all of this week's losers as well, or maybe almost, or something like that. But I'm down in total trades about 4 units of loss this week. But then again, like one of these trades, a 1-to-43 risk reward ratio. Eventually I'll get another trade that goes into some partial profits, maybe 1-to-10, 20, 30, 40 risk reward ratio. So all the losses will come back easy. So, I'm only down 4 units of loss. So it's just a matter of waiting for those good trades. But I didn't take this trade last night. So my long bias on AUD USD is that on the daily and 4-hour, I just think it's going to make another higher high. I mean, this thing has just been going up for like a year now. I don't see the trend ending anytime soon. So I'm thinking that price just may come up somewhere in here and make a higher high. I specifically have an alert at 0.79. And then it's just that'll be like once it's made a higher high in the daily. At that point, I'm probably going to book out all my profits. Then I might expect a retrace and then some like accumulation, and then maybe it'll keep going or whatever. But yeah, so I have a final target of a higher high. I'm really convinced that'll happen. If it doesn't happen, it's all good. I've already booked out plenty of profits on this trade, and I have a stop loss in profit, as you can see right here, around 7623. So I was looking to scale in last night. We had a break above these recent highs, so it's like a high there. And then we had 3 recent highs. Price had broken above, come back and retested, and started to reject with some wicks. So what I did is after that 1-hour rejection wick was formed, and it started going up, I went ahead and took a buy right here after hit the zone and started going up. I just thought it was gonna keep going up from there, go and make a higher high. So enter that trade. It came back down to like the horizontal zone, then it bounced, and then it tried to go up, but then it came back down again. Tried to bounce for a third time, and then it started coming back right here. So right here, this would have been last night whenever I was going to bed. I considered getting out of this trade around break even, around my entry, but the potential for profit is so huge. I didn't want to cap the potential on the trade. Every now and then, or I'm sorry, usually what I will do is if a trade starts going sideways like GJ and USD SEK that I closed in small loss this week before it hit the stop, usually that's what I'll do if it goes sideways. I didn't want to do that here because I knew I'd be kicking myself this morning had I closed at break even and it had continued up. So it was scaling back into this trade. Like if this first position right here ends up hitting the final target, that'll be $6,000 extra in profit, not even counting all the closed trades, partial profits. And then if this one would have gone up, I mean, it's a 1-to-16 risk to reward ratio. Even if I would have scaled out partial profits, let's just say it would have been like 13 units of gain. 13 times like 250, this would have been like just over $3,000 in profit on that. So if this just continues up even higher, I have the potential to make in total between 12 to 14,000 just on these trades. So did I want to risk that much profit by closing this trade at break even? I didn't want to risk that. I was much more comfortable just leaving the trade open, and if it stops out, whatever, it's just a tiny loss. I was much more comfortable doing that as compared to closing it at break even last night. I would have much rather kept the trade open, and so I'm happy with my decision. Didn't work out. It ended up just kind of going sideways and breaking below the level, stopping me out. Retested it and continued falling, and now I don't know, maybe we'll find some support and keep going up or whatever. I'm still holding this position right here, and that's pretty much it. So that's all the closed trades this week. You can see it's like bars at the top, so there's no more trades. If I go to positions here, the only one I'm in right now is 80 USD. It's like 2100 profit. If it goes to the final target, it'll be some nice profits. I could close out partial positions on these to get back the 4 units of loss I had this week. However, if I did that, that would really cap the profit potential. If I close, that'll be like $1,000 profit I have to close just to mitigate the losing trades this week, just to bring the week back into like profit or like right around break even and close trades. I don't want to do that because that'll cap the profit potential. If this comes back and stops at break even, it's perfectly fine. It's all good. I'll have another huge winner eventually in the next few weeks. But if I close out partial profits and it keeps going, this trade will only be maybe a $2,000 to $3,000 winner. I don't want that. I'd rather have a $6,000 winner if I'm convinced it'll keep going. I don't want to trim away and chip at too much of the position. The only place I'll be looking to close partial profits is probably like at one of these zones up in here. Probably this one here up on top at 0.7817. That's probably where I'll look to take some more profits and let the rest run. But yeah, I don't want to trim out too much of the profits on this. I'm much more comfortable just leaving it open, letting it go. And if this thing's going to play out on the daily, it'll run up here and make a new high. And that'll be some great profits. And it'll wipe out all the little small trades, small losses, break even, small profit. So I'm fine with just leaving it open. So technically, this is the first week out of all year. It's been like, a month and a half into this year. It's February 12th right now, so pretty much a month and a half. This has been the first week that I've closed the week in closed trades down on a loss. So the first losing week all year. Every week has since been a profit, though. And every week I've had Telegram has been a profit. Like I said, I could just to say, oh, yeah, we had a profitable week. I could just close partial profits in this trade and say, yeah, it was a profitable week. But like I said, I think that would be very short term. That would be very short term minded. I have like a long term vision of this trade continuing up, so I don't want to chip away at it just to say that, oh, we had another profitable week. So in closed trades, yeah, I'm down 4 units of loss this week. But in this open trade right here, it's up all of that losses with double the profit, and I think it'll continue going to be maybe quadruple the profit should it continue. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, that's what I'll be looking for this coming week. I'll be looking for price to continue to break above these zones, come and retest. Maybe I'll be able to get an entry at some zone that gets created, maybe something like that. I don't know exactly how it'll play out, but whatever I do, I will share in Telegram live, as I have been doing for like the past, 5 weeks now. So yeah, that's that. For GBP/JPY, looking for buys. Oh, wow. Wow, okay, cool. So I'm going to set an alert right here. And then if price comes back to retest this zone, I'm going to look to get into buys. So there's that. There's also GU. So sweet. I'm going to set an alert right here. And if price comes back, I'm going to look for buys. So yeah, so that's good. Euro USD. Let's see. I'm looking for buys on Euro USD still because of the daily and 4-hour uptrend. I just don't know where. Whatever I do, I'll share it in Telegram Live next week. AU still looking for buys, like I said. ADJPY still looking for buys. I'll probably be waiting on price to crack above this recent resistance area here. Then I'll look for a retest to get into buys. New Zealand dollar JPY, I'm still looking for buys. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, and I don't even know what I'm going to be looking to do. I think I'll just have to wait till next week to see if a new zone can get created. New Zealand dollar USD, I was looking for buys, but man, this thing's just gone into a range in the 4 hours. So I think I'm just going to leave this one alone for the time being. Other pairs look better, like NJ and then all these other ones I've just shared. USD SEK and USD CNH, these ones all look still good for sells. Overall, based on the daily and 4 hour, I'm just waiting to find an entry. That's all. And everything else, I don't really have any new news for you guys. Tesla, it looks like we finally cracked below these lows. So in stocks kind of like went down this week a little bit. Let's see how the portfolio did. 1 week. So down about almost 2% last week. So stocks, yeah, it's plummeting downwards. There's a month, there's 3 months, there's the past year. So yeah, I mean, I guess it is what it is. We'll see what happens as things continue. But yep, everything's still good. Risk is being controlled, everything's being mitigated, and just looking for some logical trading opportunities. So yep, I'm just kind of keeping it as it is. But that's all I got for you guys. If you like this video and you like everything I'm doing for free, all my free content, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, which I think like 60% of you who are watching my videos for some reason haven't subscribed, it takes 2.5 seconds to just hit the subscribe button and push on the notification bell. So that way, as soon as I'm sharing my analysis and trades, you'll get access to it. And if you're not in the free Telegram channel where I literally share all this stuff live on a daily basis, all you got to do is just click the link in the description of this video. Watch my 30-minute free trading video. It just teaches you how I trade, teaches you how to set up your trading system and how to structure your learning process. Then at the end of that, if you watch the whole video, then you'll get a link to join the Telegram channel. So that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, hit the like button and thank you for following. Cheers.